welcome back to another episode of our life seasons where we talk about the different seasons of life and how we grow through it. I'm your host Wen. Be sure to stick till the end for a little bonus. I don't know if you guys can actually hear it, but I'm currently recovering from a flu and I feel better now, but it's just that, my voice is still a little bit off and I didn't want to miss this week's episode, so here I am. Okay, I promise the quality of this episode is not going to be affected. Alright, so yeah, I just want to put it out there just in case any one of you who are wondering why I sound a little bit different today. It's because of my trip to Penang, which I had so much fun, clearly, that I just lost my voice and I'm still recovering from a flu. Anyways, before I start today's episode, I just want to take some time to again appreciate everyone who has been in the Our Life Seasons Inner Circle from the very start. Thank you for your constant support and love, and not forgetting the new faces who just joined the circle over the weekend, or rather over the week. A very warm welcome to the Inner Circle, and I'm super excited to be saying that we are actually welcoming at least one, if not more, of you guys over the week. And yeah, like we're currently at 33 members, if I'm not wrong. At the time that I'm recording this, on the 5th of March, we are actually at 33 community members in our Life Seasons Inner Circle, and of course we will be growing more, and I'm just very excited. It got me so excited to a point whereby I needed to upgrade my email listing because it was just impossible for me to send out individual emails for 33. But like I said, the content is not gonna be different. It's just still gonna be the same. The quality is gonna be top notch. Alright, so if this is your first time here, and if you want to receive exclusive journal prompt templates or self-help, self-love related content and gain early access to our weekly episode, join us. Is the first link in bio, or rather it's the first link below. Just saying, I don't spam, okay? If you enjoy topics like that, don't forget to leave a review of this podcast on whichever platform that you're on, so I know that these episodes do actually help you guys. Now, today's episode is a requested episode by OC on TikTok. It's a topic on receiving mixed signals, the hot and cold treatment, or someone pulling away from you. First of all, thank you so much for the request. Recently, I have been receiving a couple of requests on the topic surrounding relationships. I appreciate all the requests, like I said, and I'll get to it, so bear with me. It'll be out soon, I promise, okay? Anyways, let's be honest. I think everyone experiences mixed signals at some point in time of their life, right? And we've all been there. We've also been the one that pulls away from someone that we just don't vibe with, and that's very normal. Okay, it's important to remember that not everyone aligns with everyone, and that's okay. It doesn't mean it's the end of the world. We don't like everyone, and not everyone has to like us. That's just something that we need to come to terms with. Okay, of course, when it comes to someone that you love or have a strong attraction to, it's not easy to just accept the sudden cold replies or longer response times and just like the change of energy, but it's not impossible. Okay, it's still possible that you can actually navigate through all this. And I want to start by addressing a concept that I don't agree with, and I don't get why there are still people giving out advices like this. This is not an advice that I would take or would recommend you to even try if you are an Our Life Seasons listener, because if you know me, or if you have listened to Our Life Seasons long enough, you would know that when it comes to anything relationship or life, self-respect and self-worth is something that I preach about very passionately. Okay, and that concept is the hot and cold, or push and pull, or like the ritual of manifesting someone back into your life, be it an ex-friend, an ex-partner, whoever that is. Okay, this concept basically teaches you how to make the other party feel like, 1 minute they are on a high from the sheer intensity and warmth of your attention, and then the next minute you leave them frozen out and left to wonder what happened, which is supposed to make them feel curious and keep things going. I don't know, like spice things up in the relationship. Honestly, like I said, it's not my thing, because to me, this method involves a lot of mind games, and it sounds really tiring and too much effort for something that is meant to be in flow and feels easy. Okay, it is too complicated, and to me, it really is like a lot on like the toxic mindset of like this push and pull, because there are so many things that you may not have healed, or rather the person may not have healed, to be hopping on to this manifestation technique and just, I don't know, play mind games like that. Okay, it's just not me. It might be for someone else, not me, not us, alright? So this concept does not align with my definition of love, and so if you're looking to manifest a specific person, back into your life. And note that I said back and not manifest your specific person, because they are both very different things, okay? The energy that you put out there into the universe for both of them will be very different. One is very controlling. If you want to manifest a specific person back into your life, this stems from a very controlling mentality. And the other one, where you want to manifest your specific person, it is more on free will, okay? So they are very, very different energies. All I can say is that there are specific steps that some spiritual practitioners claim that you can take to manifest a specific person back into your life. If that is what you're looking for, sorry, this episode is not for you. You may leave now, okay? Thank you. Because what I'm about to say in this episode is going to be the complete opposite. Instead of trying to get this person to continue to treat you like an option by their hot and cold treatment or the push and pull nonsense, I'm going to talk about coming to terms with this and cutting yourself off this treatment, because you deserve better and because you should allow yourself to start seeing your worth and stand up for yourself by protecting your energy and who you are allowing into your life. So refer to episode 32 for more on this topic of having this mindset of knowing you is a privilege. And I'm very, very, very proud of this episode because the response from those who have listened to it is just amazing. If you've listened to it, you know what I'm talking about. I'm so glad to be actually receiving messages from you guys telling me how this mindset has helped some of you appreciate yourself even a little bit more and heal parts of yourself that you never thought that you could heal. And I'm very, very, very thankful and grateful and happy to hear all these updates, okay? So keep it coming. Anyways, back to the concept of manifesting someone back into your life or making someone chase after you. Basically, the rituals or steps that people talk about is rooted in the idea that you need, or at least in my point of view, is to try to control someone else's feelings or actions, which is simply not possible, okay? Because like I said a million times, the common denominator in life is ourselves, is you. Everything that we think, feel, and respond to are a choice. Our choices. So we can't make decisions for others. We can only give them our 2 cents, and whatever that they choose to do with it, whatever that happens next is completely up to them. It's completely based on their options or their choices or the way that they choose to react or respond to life, okay? We shouldn't even be trying to control something, be it a situation in our life or the cards that we are dealt with or on how someone like actually perceives us, because by doing that, you're actually choosing to give a part of yourself away every single time that you're hoping and praying that someone would choose you over their inner peace or another person or even themselves. No. It's like how I've talked about no one being worthy enough to lose your peace over, or to lose yourself, to actually love yourself a little bit lesser in episode 32, okay? No one is worthy enough to do all that. It goes both ways. You should not expect someone to love themselves any lesser to love you more, or even if that happens, it goes to show that, they still have a lot of work to do and a lot of parts to heal within themselves, and that is on them, okay? One thing I need you to know is that you can never change someone unless they are willing to, or they see the value in changing themselves. So by trying to manifest someone back into your life by either setting intentions or going to a shaman or psychic to perform rituals like that, what you're essentially doing is based off the energy of lack and desperation. And this is just my point of view, okay? And this cycle of negativity or lack will not stop until you choose to come to terms with the fact that the universe has removed that person from your life because they have served their purpose. Like I said in episode 11, right? They're not the one for you anymore, and that's okay. Regardless of how much or how many amazing moments that you guys have together, it is time to detach and let go. Please free yourself from all this pain and not allow this situation to block you from all the possibilities that the universe is about to bring into your life. And for that to all happen, you got to open yourself up for receiving, okay? Because the time that you're still holding on to this pain, the time that you're still operating in this lack and in this desperation like energy, you are blocking yourself from all these possibilities. And that is also the reason why you don't see a way out, because you focus so much on what is going on in your life right now, and you focus so much on how you're gonna make that person reciprocate the love that you have for them. That is what you're focusing on, right? And because you focus on that, you are constantly gonna be in this negative and desperation energy. But when you allow yourself to pull yourself out that situation and detach and be like, okay, so this is the situation. It's not personal. It doesn't really matter because they don't see my worth. But because I am worthy enough and I know that I'm worthy enough to love the way that I want to be loved, I am going to bring myself out of that situation and open myself up for receiving. Okay, so by having the thoughts on wanting them to chase you or make you feel love, or even going to the extent of having self-doubts and constantly feel like you're not enough for them, you're actually hurting yourself even more. Okay, you're losing a part of yourself. You're ripping yourself from the opportunity to blossom into something so beautiful, like what you're meant for when you're put on this earth. It's not worth, and I'll say this till the cows come home, okay? No one is worth losing your peace, energy, and self-love over. No one. And I need you to get that in your mind. So stop begging, stop pleasing, stop hoping, stop doubting, stop trying for people who don't even make an effort to try. Rather, I want you to take all that energy and put it back to yourself. Instead of focusing on how to play their game, or focusing on how you should actually start placing more attention, or rather, instead of focusing on asking them to be part of your life, or wanting them to love you a little bit more, or wanting them to give you the attention a little bit more, I want you to start placing more attention on what is it that you actually need or want. Okay, because feeling a need to be okay with their hot and cold treatment means that there is still a part of you that feels abandoned by someone else, and this stems from years of neglecting your own needs and desires, and this can only be resolved by no one but you. Okay, because despite those experiences of abandonment, let me tell you, the biggest and most impactful experience that you will ever feel is you abandoning yourself. Okay, now you may be wondering, what do you mean? How is that even possibly possibly oh my god, how is that even possible, right? Abandoning yourself. Let me explain. Every time you say yes to someone or doing something that you don't feel like doing, you're choosing to abandon your feelings and intuition. Every time you place someone else's needs before yours, you are choosing to abandon your desires. Every time you're thinking of what can you do more of so that someone else keeps you around, you're choosing to abandon your self-worth. And over time, all these little moments of abandonment actually adds up, and it causes you to neglect yourself. And believe it or not, it actually eats into the different areas of your life. You lose confidence in your ability to achieve your desires. You start doubting if someone is ever going to love you the way you deserve to be loved. You start panicking when someone you hold so closely to you decide to leave your life. That explains all the negativity and desperation that you feel after someone actually decides to leave you, right? But what I want to say is that this feeling of abandonment is not from the person that has left. It's actually from the build-up of your choices of pushing down your needs and desires while trying to please or satisfy someone else from the place of lack. Okay, so if you're feeling lost as to what you should do when someone pulls away or gives you the hot and cold treatment, I want you to recognize this cycle that you're in right now. The cycle starts with you wanting to please everyone or someone and ignore your needs. Then when that person leaves, you feel abandoned, and because you try harder to please them, you push your desires and needs even further away, and that allows you to feel more abandoned when they don't actually reciprocate, okay? Which most of the times they won't, okay? And let me just guess, the harder you try, the further they distance away themselves. They distance themselves away from you. And when you finally decide to let go, they come back. Yep, I know. Don't be too shocked. This is all part of psychology and part on based on like my personal experiences and the stories that I've heard. So instead of asking what should I do, you should be asking what parts of me what parts of me have I abandoned for too long and it's screaming for my attention. This goes back to the relationship that you build with yourself and slowly discovering your definition of a relationship or love. And I shared mine in episode 34. So if you are not sure of your definition, or rather you need kind of like a perspective, listen to episode 34. And I want you to remember that healthy relationships are built on mutual respect, communication, and genuine connection, okay? Trying to open inverted manifest someone back can be emotionally draining and ultimately hurting you more than letting go. I'm not sure if you guys have actually seen this graphic before of a hand holding on so tightly to a rope and not letting go even though it's bleeding. So I want to ask you this question, okay? If you had to choose between holding on to a rope that's hurting you and letting it go even though you know like you lose the end of it, what would you choose? Will you still hold on to the rope that is burning your hands even if you hold on to it? How long can you actually hold on to it before your hand starts to burn and you are left with no option but to let it go? Or would you have actually just let it go, or rather let that rope go at the very start? Okay, so I want to put this into perspective. We often hold on to, people or things that hurts us, but only because we are afraid to lose them. We don't want to feel the pain of losing something, which is so dearly to our heart, and I totally understand that, right? But have you ever thought of it this way? We are actually only hurting ourselves more by holding on to someone that is no longer meant to be in our lives, someone that do not want to be in our lives. Either ways, we get hurt. If we choose to let go, the pain is only temporary. And if we choose to hold on to it even tighter than before, the pain will only get more unbearable and longer lasting. It's your choice, okay? Yes, while you can manifest anything you want in your life, that's why you hear that, certain rituals actually do work for some people. These can lead to a lot of unhealthy behaviors like obsessive thinking and ignoring red flags that are presented to us because we choose to only believe in what we want to see. And that may not be the most beneficial for us, right? The reason why we choose that, or rather we choose to only believe in what we want to see, is because it allows us to keep us in our comfort zone. It prevents us from getting hurt. This is just like the very, I would say, automatic response that your body has when it comes to feeling hurt. So in order to protect ourselves from feeling hurt, we only choose to see what we want to see, which, like I said, is not the most beneficial for us, okay? Based on the law of attraction, you get to choose what you want to manifest, and if it were up to me, I would not choose to manifest someone who has given up on me or someone who allowed me to lose myself while chasing after them. Because when something just feels right, be it in a relationship or be it in your life purpose, there is no chasing involved. It's like a waltz dance. You get to be in flow because everything happens for you in divine timing. So check out episode 32 again for more on this. I know I talk a lot about episode 32 because it's really, really, really amazing. You guys should really just go and listen to it if you have not, okay? Know that chasing someone who plays hot or cold, or rather this hot and cold game, is not about manifesting love. It's about disrespecting your self-worth or your own worth, placing yourself last and allowing yourself to see, or rather allowing others to see you as someone who can be disrespected. Because how you treat yourself is going to be how others are going to treat you, okay? So don't give someone the permission to disrespect you just because you feel like you're not worthy enough to be loved or cared for. Just because you feel like you don't respect yourself, or rather just because you don't respect yourself enough, or you don't give the love to yourself enough, okay? Don't give that as a reason why someone should disrespect you. Which brings me to the next point on self-respect. Before I get into self-respect, I need to put this out there, alright? Whatever actions you're seeing from another person, it shows you their personality, mindset, and values. Please take it at face value. The worst part is to try to justify their behavior for them and gaslighting yourself into accepting the disrespect. I've seen a lot of people, myself included sadly, on how we allow others to treat ourselves however that they want, thinking that we are at their disposal is just disgusting, okay? And that is when setting boundaries and working on yourself enough to know what exactly you want, what exactly you stand by, and what is a no-go for you is important, okay? You hold your ground and you don't allow people to disrespect you, and the best part is you don't feel a need to help them to come up with excuses of why their behavior is a one-off thing. It's never an open inverted one-off thing, alright? So, if someone is making you feel like you're part of their hot and cold game, know that whether or not it's unconscious or consciously, it shows that there is a lot of healing to be done from their past traumas, or that you guys are just not aligned with your values and what love is, because if you are, you would enjoy this hot and cold treatment too, right? Some say it actually helps to spice things up. Honestly, I don't know. It's up to you. But if you're asking me on how to deal with this, chances are you're not feeling into this game as well, okay? And on this note, we are very much aligned. And what you need right now is to listen to episode 32 on Knowing You is a Privilege. Again, I know. That episode is a killer episode where I talked about having this mindset of how, everyone who comes across in your life is actually interviewing to be part of your life. And that is not arrogance, okay? That is confidence. So, if self-worth and confidence is something that you want to be working on right now, or if you feel like you need to work on self-worth and confidence right now, and you don't want or don't allow others to step all over you, I would say start with episode 32 and slowly find your way into other episodes like episode 21 or episode 6. Alright? So instead of trying to win someone back, focus on recognizing red flags, which is honestly a game changer for you, okay? And based on your expectations and standards in your relationship, you will be able to identify these red flags almost immediately. Anything that gives you an ick, immediate red flag, alright? And if you don't know what your expectations or standards are, episode 31 is a good starting point. Most importantly, I want you to tap into your intuition. Your heart knows a red flag when it feels one, okay? You'll start being uncomfortable and you start to feel like your energy starts to drop. And I want you to know that when I say red flag, I'm not bashing anyone with these qualities. Neither do I think that I'm above them, and you shouldn't too, okay? But understand that they're just not aligned with me or you, and that's okay. Knowing to spot the red flags just allows you to protect yourself and protect your energy, okay? But for now, let me just list out some of the common red flags that, I think of, or rather that I can come up off the top of my head, okay? I want you to think of the specific person or actions or specific person or their actions and allow this to be a checklist for you, okay? If they check all, even if just one, know that it's not in your position to try to change them or talk it out with them. I mean, you can if you want, but remember that no one can change except for themselves, alright? And please don't try to justify their actions. No buts, no because, no maybes, okay? You ready? Let's get into the first red flag. Now, I'm going to put this out there first. Mixed signals or the hot and cold behavior are the biggest, red flag to me. This may look like, they're not interested, but their actions, this may look like them telling you they're interested, but their actions don't match up. This shows that they are confused with what they want, and if someone doesn't know what they want, you're in no obligation to tell them why they should want you, okay? They have a lot of work to do when it comes to unpacking their emotions. And again, you don't have to be the one that is unpacking it for them. Next, we have inconsistent or zero communication. This may look like, them texting you constantly on one day and then going radio silent for days. Doesn't matter what the reason was, communication is key in every relationship. Even on busy days. Yes, I've seen people texting their significant other beforehand to let them know that they will be busy, to expect a slower reply, and that is responsibility and good communication, okay? That is just the basic, honestly. Next, making last minute plans with you. This may look like them only reaching out to you when it's convenient for them. This just shows how much respect they have for you, which is 0 to none, because they expect you to be ready for them anytime. Being at their disposal is disrespect to you and your time, okay? And if you're expecting, or rather if you're someone who drops everything for them, pushing back your self-care day, pushing back your pre-planned outing with your friends, that is the reason why they feel like it's okay to make last-minute plans for you. Set your standards by respecting yourself and valuing your time, and communicate it to them that you don't do last-minute plans, because unless you have nothing to do on that day. And if you're having a self-care day, it is still a plan, okay? Don't go pushing it back, because honoring your self-care day allows you to show yourself that you care for your well-being and that you choose to put yourself first. And that is very, very important when it comes to self-worth. Next, they avoid commitment and tell you things like, I don't know, but we'll see where this goes, or I'm not ready for a relationship yet. Respect that and leave, okay? Don't stay hoping that you can change their mindset. I know it sounds amazing to be able to tell a love story of, oh, he wasn't looking for something serious until he met me. But trust me, that story only happens 1 in a billion. The rest got their heart broken. So please, don't run into a red flag blinded by the thought of changing someone who clearly told you that they are not ready for a relationship or anything serious unless you align with that too. And don't tell me that you align with that, because you wouldn't be listening to this episode. So don't even try to lie, okay? I know it all too well. There are obviously more red flags, but these are just some of it. If you're seeing those red flags, it's time to actually take action, alright? It doesn't mean blowing up their phone or begging for clarity. It just means that it's time for you to invest in yourself and move on. Take charge of your happiness and self-love instead of focusing on someone who doesn't reciprocate your feelings, okay? It's important to understand that letting go doesn't mean giving up on love altogether. It just means that you acknowledge that this particular person isn't the right one for you, and you're choosing to invest your time and energy into someone who actually genuinely appreciates and reciprocates your feeling, starting with yourself. And by starting with yourself and by working with yourself, that person will actually come to you one day, okay? You won't even need to chase. You won't even know. That person will actually just come to you. That person who genuinely appreciates you for who you are. Now that you've recognized all the red flags, it's actually time to move forward, like I said, and I want to share with you 3 ways that I found really helpful when it comes to letting go of someone or coming out of a hot and cold situationship or relationship, okay? Number 1 is to have an honest and open conversation with both yourself and that person. Now, start with yourself. What is it that you're looking for in a relationship? What do you want out of the relationship? Are you really ready for a relationship? What are some parts of you that you're expecting someone to heal for you? What are your standards and expectations of a relationship? Once you got all this clear, and once you have a clear answer on what you actually want, extend the conversation to that person or to whoever that you meet next, okay? And the purpose of this conversation is just to align on your expectations and standards. And when I say align, I don't mean to dump everything on them and be like, here are my expectations, blah, blah, blah. Listen more, speak less, because this is not a chance for them to change or negotiate. This is a chance for you to allow them to show their intentions of this relationship through actions and words, to show you whether it's a relationship worth being in, and you silently aligning it with in your mind, okay? And at the end of the conversation, you would have clarity on whether you're going to stay or not. You don't have to always be the one talking. Let them be the one doing the talk, and then listening and taking action from there, okay? And that brings me to number 2. Respect yourself and your time. Don't waste your energy on someone who isn't giving you the respect and attention you deserve. As soon as they start showing you signs that they are not aligned with you, learn to communicate that to them and leave. It doesn't have to be this big hoo-ha thing or this big hoo-ha confrontation, but more of to sit them down and say that this is why I don't think we're aligned, and if so, I think it's best for us to part ways. Sounds simple, but trust me, it takes a lot of work and effort on building your self-worth, confidence, and mindset to be at a stage where you're able to look at the situation for what it is and not attach any ego or take it personally. That is true freedom and peace, okay? If you're not there yet, keep listening to our Life Seasons podcast. I promise you, you'll be closer than where you are. Because it is proven. I had a listener send me a DM the other day to show me some love by telling me how much the episodes and advisors has helped him to slowly start loving himself again and to do things for himself. And it makes me so happy to hear that. Because like I said before, the first step to healing is to start taking action even if you don't feel like it. Because one day, you're gonna start feeling better from all these actions. All these actions are just gonna start adding up, okay? That brings me to my last point. Focus on yourself. Invest your time and energy into things that brings you joy and fulfillment. Get back into your hobbies. Get into one even if you don't have one. Surround yourself with positive people who support you, like our Life Seasons Inner Circle. I'm glad that you're listening to this, and if you're not in our Life Seasons Inner Circle yet, I hope you'll be part of it soon, okay? So with that said, here's the bonus that I promised you at the very start of this episode. I want to leave you with this. Imagine being in a forest. If you find yourself passing the same tree twice, you're probably lost. The same goes for relationships, okay? If someone is actually sending you mixed signals, pulling away, or simply not reciprocating your feelings, and you find yourself asking the same questions over and over again of, are they interested in me? Or am I good enough? It's a clear sign that you're on the wrong path. Letting go is a sign of strength and self-respect, not weakness, okay? It allows you to create space for something better to come into your life, for someone better to come into your life, someone more aligned. If you're struggling with this, know that you're not alone. You're never alone. We're a collective and we've gone through similar situations in different fonts. So I hope you can actually tap onto me for advice or even one another in the comment section below. That would be really, really nice to see. Alrighty, that's all for today's episode. Again, thank you so much for your requests. Please keep them coming by dropping me a DM on Instagram or TikTok at Our Life Seasons, or comment on whichever platform that you're listening to so that I can get back to you. Alright, I hope you enjoy this podcast episode, and stay tuned for more episodes like this, because honestly, I have received a lot of requests, like I said, and I really do appreciate them. And I want to take my time to think of what I want to say before actually putting a podcast episode out there, so that I make sure that it's beneficial for you guys as well, and you guys can actually grow together with me. Alright, so I'll see you in the next one. Bye!